Do not let the green deceive you. Amazon is not a forest. It is a living entity, and it is hungry. Here, life and death share no boundary. The water can kill you. The trees can consume you. And with every single step, an eye is watching. As the last light of day fades over the ancient forests, the Amazon begins to reveal its true face. Beneath the murky waters, covered by a spine-chilling silence, a dark phantom from prehistoric times waits with absolute patience. This is the black caiman. It is not just an ordinary reptile, but an uncrowned king, the arbiter of life and death ruling over the vast river systems and fresh waters of South America. Completely unlike the noisy and showy predators on land, the black caiman chooses a reclusive and insidious lifestyle. Its primitive instinct allows it to turn its entire massive body, weighing hundreds of kilograms, into an inanimate stone, submerged and motionless at the bottom of the muddy river. It becomes a part of the riverbed, dissolving into the darkness of the water. Its thick skin, carrying a characteristic dark black color, is not merely a biological mechanism. It is both an unassailable armor protecting it from impacts or attacks, and the most perfect invisibility cloak granted by nature. This skin completely absorbs the remaining faint rays of light, making it entirely invisible beneath the river. When night officially falls and blankets the entire rainforest, the river puts on a gloomy coat of death. That is also the moment this colossal assassin begins to awaken. However, it never rushes or shows impatience. Rushing for a predator in the Amazon means failure, and the black caiman understands that very well. Millions of years of survival instinct and accumulated evolutionary experience have taught this ancient reptile a vital lesson. The ultimate weapon of an apex predator is not chasing speed, but ultimate patience. It can remain completely still like that for hours, without a single movement, waiting for the prey to step into the door of death. On the water surface now, Only its amber eyes and rugged nostrils protrude. Motionless, without a sound, without creating even the slightest ripple. Every creature that happens to pass by the riverbank is completely blind to its presence, unaware that right beneath their feet, a deadly trap has been set. But the most terrifying weapon, the tool that brought the black caiman to the apex of power, is its armored jaw. The bite force of an adult caiman can easily exceed thousands of psi. This horrific mechanical power is enough to crush the thickest and hardest turtle shell, or shatter the leg bone of a large wild boar in a single snap. At this moment, in the shallow waters near the riverbank, seemingly the most peaceful place, a herd of capybaras slowly approaches to quench their thirst after a long, scorching day. The instinct of herbivores makes them extremely alert. They constantly raise their heads, scanning around and sniffing the air for any scent of danger. The calm water surface suddenly explodes into 100 pieces. There is no sound or warning sign beforehand. In a mere tenth of a second, the colossal armored monster launches itself out of the water like an arrow released from a bow, shattering the silence with terrifying explosive power. Its muscular tail thrashes the water, propelling its hundreds of kilograms body straight forward. The colossal jaw gapes wide, plunging deep into the prey's neck, instantly using a 1,000-pound pull to drag the ill-fated victim down into the deep river. Beneath the murky water, the black caiman executes its death roll, a brutal maneuver breaking every bone. The water bubbles crimson, then slowly returns to stillness. The Amazon grows quiet again, as if no slaughter had just occurred. Leaving the swift currents of the main river and stepping deep into the flooded swamps and stagnant bayous of the Amazon, another dominant force reigns. Here, where sunlight rarely pierces the dense canopy, darkness blankets the twisted roots of ancient trees plunging deep into the mud. Beneath that dense carpet of water weeds and aquatic vegetation, a colossal body, undulating smoothly like an undercurrent, glides silently. This is the green anaconda. Lacking the lethal venom of other snakes, this creature possesses an overwhelming body size and weight. The body structure of this monster is adapted to make it a perfect hidden predator. Its eyes and nostrils are located right at the top of its head. This allows its entire massive body, as large as an ancient tree trunk, to submerge completely while it still watches and breathes comfortably. Its olive green scales with large black spots scattered along its spine blend completely into the color of mud, decaying leaves, and stagnant water. As it crawls over dead logs or hides in shoreline thickets, the boundary between the living creature and its environment is completely erased. Its black forked tongue constantly flicks in and out, tasting the surrounding air. It gathers chemical particles, sending information to special sensory organs to paint a detailed heat map in its brain. The snake has detected a nearby target, even without seeing it with its eyes. Not far away, a large tapir cautiously steps through the thickets near the swamp. It moves very quietly, constantly stopping to listen. In this kingdom, every strange noise is paid for with life, but the animal does not know that the greatest danger is the one that makes absolutely no sound. The giant snake begins to close the distance. It does not swim straight, but undulates through the gaps of tree roots, so gently that the water surface above shows no ripple. The power of hundreds of rolling muscle bundles is coiling up, compressed like a massive steel spring ready to release. Strike! The silence is torn apart. Fast as a flash of lightning, the snake's head launches straight out of the water. Its wide-open jaw with backward curved teeth plunges into the prey's flesh. This bite is not intended to kill instantly, but to create a solid anchor, locking the victim from escaping. Instantly, the massive and heavy body coils rush in, wrapping tightly around the victim with incredible speed. The true battle of life and death begins. The prey struggles frantically, trying to break free, but each time it exhales, the snake tightens its deadly coils even further. This is the brutal hunting art of the anaconda, the constricting nightmare. The power from its muscle bundles creates a colossal pressure bearing down on the victim's chest. The circulatory system is completely blocked. Blood vessels stop flowing, and the prey's heart no longer has room to beat. Death arrives via an invisible but absolute pressure. The struggle weakens and then completely stops. The swamp returns to its spine-chilling silence. The giant snake senses through its skin that the victim's heartbeat has entirely stopped. it begins to loosen its coils slowly, preparing for the final phase of the successful hunt. Under the darkness of the Amazon rainforest, the swamp water becomes still again, as if no life had just perished. The ultimate predator sinks back into the deep, continuing nature's ruthless cycle of survival, preparing for the next bloody feasts in the shadows. Leaving the deep swamps, our Amazon journey takes us to isolated and secluded river branches. Here, the water becomes stagnant, shrouded in mud, with almost no oxygen circulation. In this space, seemingly suffocating and harsh to the extreme, an invisible and advanced biological weapon is silently establishing its absolute dominance. From the deep darkness of the riverbed, a long, sleek body, undulating gracefully like a snake, slowly emerges. This is the Amazon electric eel. Lacking sharp fangs or a violent armored jaw, this ordinary-looking creature holds an ultimate power, a destructive energy that makes even the fiercest predators of the jungle cautiously avoid it. This glossy, thin membrane plays a vital role for the creature. It not only helps the electric eel weave through rocks and dense underwater thickets, but also acts as perfect insulation, protecting its internal organs from its own deadly energy. Living in an environment almost depleted of oxygen, the electric eel has developed a unique method of survival. Every few minutes, it must surface to breathe air directly. Its flattened head with small, cloudy, and nearly blind eyes does not need vision to hunt in the dark, for it masters the surrounding murky water using a far more sophisticated sense. Its entire body is a giant biological battery. To navigate and sense its environment, the electric eel constantly emits low-voltage electrical pulses into the surrounding water. These weak currents create an electromagnetic field wrapping around it, acting as an advanced radar navigation system that detects the slightest movement of nearby objects. Along the riverbank, beneath decaying tree roots, a school of small fish is leisurely searching for food. They are completely harmless and unaware that they have swum into the deadly coverage zone of the hidden predator. With just a gentle tail flick from the fish, the change in the electromagnetic field instantly alerts and locks their position into the eel's brain. The eel begins to move, closing in on its target slowly and with extreme coldness. Without the need for explosive lunges, it simply glides gracefully. At this moment, over 6,000 specialized electrocytes lined along its body begin to fire, accumulating and compressing a massive amount of electrical energy, preparing for a destructive wide-area blast. Zap. The silence of the river is shattered completely by a terrifying burst of energy. In a microsecond, the electric eel suddenly discharges a current that can reach a record high of over 800 volts. This violent shock tears through the water, instantly shutting down the entire nervous system and paralyzing every muscle of all living creatures within range. Without breaking a sweat on frantic chases, the predator leisurely swims over to the fish carcasses, floating and stiff from spasms. It gently swallows each prey one by one. The electric eel's current is like an invisible scythe of death, harvesting lives cleanly, silently, without a drop of blood, yet with absolute efficiency. As the dry season sweeps across the Amazon basin, it brings a brutal purge unlike any other seasonal shift on Earth. The once proud main river recedes, leaving behind isolated, stagnant, and suffocating pools deep within the jungle. For the creatures here, these are no sanctuaries. They are the pools of death, a natural trap where the lines between predator and prey blur, and where all life is forced into a desperate gamble for survival, dwindling hour by hour under the scorching sun. Beneath the murky, stagnant surface, oxygen levels are plummeting by the minute. The panic of thousands of aquatic creatures creates distinct vibrations, sending an unmistakable signal through the air. In the natural world, the misfortune of one species is a compelling invitation for another. The scent of mud, mixed with failing life, is drawing a formidable predatory force. They are not rushing, nor are they loud, but their presence always signals that a complete massacre is about to unfold in the heart of this death pool. From the dark hidden corners of the flooded ecosystem, they emerge, not alone, not isolated, but in a tightly bonded clan. These are not the small playful otters found in temperate lakes. Reaching lengths of up to 2 meters, they are the giant otters of the Amazon. Yet, the indigenous tribes here do not use that gentle name. They call them by a title full of dread and respect. A name that perfectly captures their ruthless predatory nature. The water wolves. Water wolves never rely on individual luck to hunt. Their ultimate weapon for dominating these waters is collective intelligence and flawless team coordination. Before entering the hunt, the entire clan engages in a highly complex, vocal communication ritual. These short barks, whines, and whistles are not random noises. They are a tactical language used to assign positions, deploy their formation, and block every single escape route in the pool of death. For the Waterwolf clan today, the gasping fish along the shore are not enough to satisfy the hunger of the pack. The alpha's gaze has locked onto a target far larger and exponentially more dangerous. Positioned right in the center of the death pool is a caiman, the reptilian lord of the swamps. In any other context, the caiman is a terror to all. But here in this cramped pool, it has unwittingly entered the crosshairs and is about to be placed on the Waterwolf's menu. The all-out siege officially begins. Without a moment of hesitation, without a single misplaced step, the entire pack of waterwolves dives into the mud. They slice through the water, tearing the isolated pool apart with deadly wakes. Their strategy is to divide the space, cutting off every possible escape route for the caiman. The pool of death has now truly transformed into a mortal arena where the giant reptile is stripped of its advantage, completely helpless against a tactical grid deployed by the river's smartest predators. Beneath the murky water and thick mud, the perfect body structure of the giant otter is unleashed to its maximum potential. Their streamlined, torpedo-like bodies, combined with flat paddle-like tails, grant them astonishing speed and agility. Although the caiman possesses thick armor and unparalleled muscle power, in this muddy environment, it becomes pitifully slow and clumsy against the swiftly gliding shadows that appear and disappear like underwater ghosts. The waterwolves never make the mistake of charging directly into the caiman's deadly jaws. They are absolute masters of a war of attrition. Dividing into small groups, a few will constantly harass and distract from the front, while the others take turns sinking their sharp teeth into the vulnerable tail and hind legs of their opponent. Bit by bit, they chip away, draining the energy and completely shattering the fighting will of the Swamp Lord. When the battle ends, the pool of death yields its ultimate reward to the relentless and disciplined. There is no chaos or selfish infighting here. The meal is shared peacefully and orderly according to the sacred hierarchy of the Water Wolf clan. The alpha and the pups are prioritized first. This deep social bond is precisely why they are an invincible force, a collective capable of subduing even the top apex predators of the Amazon. But the thick scent of blood in the dry air quickly spreads, drawing dangerous forces from deep within the jungle. A jaguar, the ultimate terrestrial assassin, appears at the water's edge. Its amber eyes reveal a clear desire for the otter's prize. However, faced with the creature possessing the strongest bite force of the cat family, the Water Wolf clan shows no sign of fear or retreat. They instantly form a defensive line, standing tall to create a wall of flesh and fierce barks, ready for another war. In the natural world, a wise hunter always calculates the cost of conflict. The solitary jaguar, despite its immense power, recognizes that facing the absolute unity and ferocity of an entire water wolf clan is a suicidal decision. It chooses a peaceful retreat. The throne of the pool of death is once again successfully defended by the invincible family alliance of the Amazon River. The pool of death closes a long, tense day in the peaceful tranquility of a fading sunset. In this place, where the line between life and death is as thin as a hair, where the harshness of nature pushes all creatures to their limits, the water wolves have once again cemented their supreme dominance through the power of family bonds and unity. Tomorrow, the battle for survival will resume, but today, they are the absolute masters of their own destiny in the wild heart of the Amazon. As the loud water wolves depart after their bloody feast, the pool of death quickly regains a deceptive tranquility. Under the scorching Amazonian sun, the water level in this stagnant swamp is receding at an alarming rate. Yet, silence here does not equal safety. Within this cramped, silt-heavy water, a different predatory force is beginning to awaken. They require no collective strength. Instead, they choose to merge absolutely with the darkness of the muddy floor, patiently waiting. Beneath the thin layer of mud and decaying leaves, two small sharp eyes are silently monitoring every movement. This is the Amazon freshwater stingray. Its skin is a masterpiece of camouflage, with spotted patterns that perfectly mimic the dead foliage on the riverbed. It can remain motionless for hours, using its pectoral fins to sweep sand over its body, transforming itself into an extension of the muddy floor, invisible to any unsuspecting prey. The other residents of the pool of death, especially the small schools of fish, are becoming more desperate than ever as oxygen levels drop. The suffocation forces them to constantly move in search of air. One small school, exhausted and off guard, drifts toward the shallow mudflat. They have no idea that every flick of their tails creates tiny vibrations in the water, a fatal frequency guiding the hunter hidden right below them. The attack erupts in the blink of an eye. The calm mud surface suddenly explodes as the stingray forcefully flaps its pectoral fins, launching itself upward like a phantom. It turns its flat, round body into a living net, casting a deadly shadow over the small fish. The terrifying speed of the strike completely shatters all defensive instincts of the poor creatures in this cramped water. Instead of hunting with sharp teeth, the stingray uses its broad body to crush its target against the muddy floor. It pins the prey beneath its flat underbelly, stripping away any chance of escape. Soon after, the small mouth on its underside begins to contract, thoroughly crushing the prey. This is a ruthless yet highly efficient hunting method, allowing it to conserve precious energy during the harsh, dry season. But the hidden hunter's meal is soon interrupted. A large heron, a veteran stalker of the Amazon wetlands, steps slowly into the area on its long, slender legs. Its long beak, as sharp as a spear, repeatedly strikes the water looking for small fish. The heron is completely unaware that right beneath its proud footsteps, a far more terrifying hazard lies waiting in the loose mud. The mistake happens when the heron's skinny leg steps directly onto the stingray's back. Feeling threatened, the hidden assassin reacts almost instantaneously and violently. Its entire body flexes, and the long tail, its ultimate defensive weapon, whips forward like a leather lash, tearing through the murky water to protect itself and its domain. The secret weapon at the base of its tail is now revealed: a hard, razor-sharp barb with reverse serrations. More than just a deep puncture, this spine carries a potent protein venom capable of destroying tissue and causing instant, excruciating pain. The serrated barb drives straight into the heron's leg, pumping the deadly toxin into its body. The pain from the venom instantly paralyzes the heron's nervous system. It flaps its wings wildly in a desperate attempt to free itself, letting out heartbreaking cries before scrambling on its remaining leg to retreat toward the dry sand. The envenomated leg trembles violently under the toxin's impact, turning the proud hunter into a weakened victim in a single moment. After delivering the devastating punishment in self-defense, the stingray does not pursue its enemy. It slowly lowers itself back into position, gently sweeping its pectoral fins to cover its back with a fresh layer of mud. Within seconds, all traces of the horrific conflict completely vanish. The predator hides beneath the earth once more, remaining an invisible trap. The poor heron now stands isolated on the scorching sand, a costly survival lesson paid for, with either its life or permanent disability. The Amazonian sun continues to beat down, evaporating the final drops of water. The pool of death holds no room for compassion. Even the smallest mistake is met with ruthless retribution from the concealed predators. As the swift currents recede, the Amazon opens into isolated lakes and strangely calm river branches. The water here is as still as a giant mirror of the jungle. Yet behind this peaceful and poetic facade, one of the most iconic terrors of this underwater kingdom lurks. Beneath the deep water, vibrant reddish-orange bellies begin to appear, binding together into a dense mass of thousands of individuals. This is the red-bellied piranha. Choosing not to walk alone, this fish turns collective solidarity into an ultimate weapon. The piranha's ultimate weapon lies in its specialized jaw. Its lower jaw protrudes sharply forward, housing a row of triangular, flat teeth as sharp as finely honed razor blades. This tooth structure is designed not to pierce, but to cleanly slice flesh in a single bite. The lake's peace is shattered when a small creature accidentally slips into the water from a high branch. It frantically thrashes to find a way ashore. The tiny shock waves from the victim's panic spread through the space, sending a deadly message. Piranhas possess an extremely acute auditory system, capable of sensing low-frequency vibrations of a distressed animal from a great distance. Instantly, the entire swarm locks onto the target, changing direction in unison. In a flash, the water around the victim begins to literally boil. Dark gray shadows rush in at dizzying speeds, completely surrounding and isolating the prey. The most terrifying nightmare of the Amazon officially begins: the feeding frenzy. There is no courtesy or order here. Each piranha darts in and out like a mobile drill, tearing away a piece of flesh and immediately making way for the one behind. Sharp teeth lock together continuously, ripping through flesh with brutal power. The pungent scent of blood spreading through the water stimulates the wild instinct of the swarm to the peak of frenzy. In that chaos, they might even accidentally bite one another, turning the once calm water into a ruthless, bubbling bloodbath. The slaughter ends as swiftly as it began. Within just a few short minutes, all that remains of the ill-fated creature is a clean skeleton, slowly sinking into the deep mud of the lake bed. The destruction is absolute, leaving no trace behind. After the frenzy passes, the piranha swarm retreats to hide beneath flooded roots or decaying leaves. They return to their still appearance, swimming slowly like harmless river residents. But that stillness is merely a deception, a lull before the next storm. On the high branches along the lake, other creatures continue their lives, looking down at the still water reflecting the sky. They cannot know that right beneath that peaceful picture, thousands of flesh and bone razors are waiting for the slightest shockwave. The evening light dyes the wild lake golden, closing a terrifying chapter on the Amazon's pack assassins. The still water continues to conceal its ruthless secrets, like a cold challenge from nature to human courage. Our journey through the brutal Amazon underworld temporarily closes. But this life-giving river is just a small piece of a grand survival puzzle. Right above that still water, a completely different world calls. The dense green canopy, home to mysterious creatures and terrifying night hunters yet to be revealed. brace yourselves, because in the next chapter, we will step ashore to decode the breathtaking secrets of the mysterious Amazon jungle floor. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss this ultimate survival journey. See you next time.